For a little context, I, 23 male, Kai, was always the disappointment child. My younger sister, 20, Gigi, was always the favorite as soon as she was born. My parents, Julia, mom, 46, and Harris, dad, 48, always favored Gigi as she was a girl, and a week before Gigi was born, my grandmother, Gianna, passed away, so my mom named her Gigi in honor of my grandmother. The problem here is that my parents always favored Gigi no matter what, resulting in me and my family not being close. Now my fiance, soon-to-be wife Remy, 22, and I are having our wedding next week. I proposed to her 2 years ago, and my family was supportive. We've been planning our wedding for 2 years and are very excited about this. We announced the date 5 months ago. We invited everybody, chose the food, outfits, and everything needed for a wedding. The date was perfect for everyone, and we planned it with Remy's family, who lives in France. The problem is, last month, Gigi was arrested for a DUI, driving under the influence, and she got 1 month in jail. Of course, my family's on Gigi's side, saying it's unfair as she's only a kid, but I personally disagree. Gigi is 20 years old. She's an adult, and this sentence could be a wake-up call for her to sort herself out, as she could have killed someone or herself. As she's sentenced to a month, obviously she won't be able to attend my wedding, which I was kind of bummed about as she is my sister. I would have loved to have her on my special day. However, my parents said it was unfair that I was having my wedding while she was in jail, and I should change it so that she could attend. I discussed it with Remy, but we both agreed it was far too late to cancel the whole thing a week before, and her family had already booked their tickets to attend the wedding. We also agreed that it's unfair to cancel on around 40 people just because of one person, and it would be too much stress, money, and panic. I told my family this, and they said I was rude. They said they wouldn't come without my sister, so I told them not to speak to me again if they won't support me. I told my family that they were always cavorting with Gigi, and it was cruel of them to never be there for me. We had a lot of arguing, and that's when I said, if you don't come to the wedding, don't be bothered by me ever again, and I never want to speak to you again. I feel like I overreacted. I got a lot of angry texts from them, and even some aunts and uncles. However, this hurt because they all refused to come, and this was the one time they could have shown they loved me. Wow, this breaks my heart for you. You are not the idiot. Hugs for having your parents prioritize your sister's jail time, which I find very suspect because usually the first ticket is in jail unless something else happened when she got the ticket. You can't wave a magic wand to change the date, so get married. Your parents will always disappoint you because you were never their priority after your sister was born. If you haven't gotten therapy, please get it. Tell your parents you cannot change the date, and if they want it changed, they need to pay for it. Obviously, they can't because they couldn't get a lawyer for your baby sister. I would also post on your socials that since your sister was arrested under the influence and can't make the wedding because of her poor choices, your side of the family has decided not to go to the wedding as a show of solidarity with your sister. Oh, Pete, you're starting your own new life with your spouse. It hurts, but indifference would probably be more effective. Oh well, sorry you can't make it. People who are there for you get to be a part of your lives going ahead. If it takes anger and ultimatums to get them there, do you really want them there anyway? Now you're in the position of not being sure who might show up at the last minute, having them show up anyway only to complain the whole time, etc. I'm sorry that they suck, and I hope you have a beautiful wedding and a lifetime of happiness. Dude, frankly, it sounds like you're better off without them in your lives. I agree with this totally. Having to issue ultimatums is a great way to sabotage your day with reluctant, sullen parents. Find your joy with the ones who choose to celebrate your new life together. A simple, I'm hurt that you made this choice. I'm sorry you can't make it. And if you want to be snarky, you can always tell them you'll send them pictures. Or to be snarky, you can Photoshop Gigi into the wedding pictures with jailbird wings and bars in front of her face. I wouldn't actually do it, but it's fun to dream. Update number 1. Am I the idiot for telling my parents I'll never speak to them again if they choose my sister? For more info, my sister was under the influence of drugs as she was coming back from a party. Her excuse was she was pressured to do it, but I disagree as she's a full-grown adult. Later on today, Remy got a message from my mom saying, "It's disrespectful to make Kai turn against this family." Remy got really upset over this. This message made her feel bad about herself, and she even considered canceling the wedding. I got angry with this, and I let my anger get the best of me, so I confronted my mom, Julia. I texted her, "I saw the message you sent to Remy. May I know the reason why you found that okay in your brain to say that?" Julia, "Well, since you're not manning up, someone has to do it for you. And oh, please, we all know who's forcing you, hon." Me, "No one is forcing me. The fact you thought it was okay to even message Remy is stupid. I always knew how entitled you were. I can't say I'm surprised we all know who your golden child is. And thanks to you, she's in jail." Julia, "Your sister's in jail for no reason, and you should support her while she's going through these hard times. Instead, you leave her, which is why me and your father won't be attending your wedding." Me, "Honestly, I couldn't care less at this point. I'm used to it. It's always Gigi and never me." Julia, "You should be ashamed of yourself for being a jealous brat." Me, "The only thing I'm ashamed about is having you as a mother." After this, I blocked her. Honestly, I couldn't care less. I hope I did the right thing. I'm so proud of you. I'm cheering for you out loud. Your mother is as blind as can be and blames everyone but herself. No doubt the reason your sister does the same thing. Of course it can't be her fault that she took drugs and drove. You made the best choice you could under the circumstances, and I know it's hard to be hard. Your parents probably won't act like they care until you guys start having kids. And even then, as soon as your sister starts having them, yours will immediately be pushed aside. You did the right thing. Stick to your guns. Last year before Thanksgiving, my brother, the golden child, was arrested for trying to hurt someone with a sword in front of his wife, my sister-in-law, and 2 young children. My mother tried to force us all to cancel everything until he got out. My birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, my nephew's birthday, my sister's birthday, because it wasn't fair. It caused immense amounts of drama, including showing up to scream at my sister-in-law multiple times over it because she didn't lie to the cops about what happened, and it's her fault. Yeah, I helped her file for divorce, got her out of that small town, and cut off all those toxic narcissistic idiots, and life has never been better. Do not give in to this BS. You also rock, Kai. I hope your wedding will be amazing and that Remy and you have a wonderful life together. Update number 2. Am I the idiot for telling my parents I'll never speak to them again if they choose my sister? Today I just woke up to a message from my father. I blocked my mom yesterday, but must have forgotten to block him. Dad, are you going to change your wedding date? Me, you seriously think I'll change the wedding for one person? Dad, that one person is your sister. She's innocent. She's your real family. Kai, do it. Your sister's going through a hard time. She's really upset she can't go. We didn't raise you to be this way. Me, you guys barely raised me at all. Dad, stop exaggerating. I can't be bothered with you right now. Your mom wants to speak to you. Unblock her. Me, no. There's nothing to be talked about. I'm not changing my wedding date, and that's final. Dad, we won't come then. I told him I didn't care and uninvited them. I blocked him after. I know what I did was right, and I'm not asking for advice anymore. Remy's parents are coming today, and I know they're very sweet. I feel they're family, but my parents will never be. Good for you. Congratulations on your wedding. The gall of them to suggest she's not his real family. The words I'd have hollered at them. Shame the devil and tell the truth. Since you've uninvited them, I suggest you have security there to bounce them when they show up, or at least there for when they start causing an issue, and you can have them bounced. Good point. And please get in touch with all your wedding suppliers and password the accounts. Phew, Your parents are proof that relatives do not equal family. Your life will be much happier and more peaceful with them no longer in it. Go on and live your best life ever with Remy and her family. Never feel guilty about your decision to block your toxic blood relatives. I, 29 female, traveled across the country to visit a company regarding an incredible job offer. I spent 2 days touring the company to decide if it would be the right fit for me after years of self-employment. After meeting with the company, I visited my sister, 32, and her family a few towns over. We barely see each other because of work and distance, so spending a few days with her, the family, and her new baby was wonderful. I was gone for a total of 8 days. When I returned home, I was excited to spend time with my husband, 33, and tell him about the trip, my visit with my sister, my impression of the city, etc. We were meant to be celebrating our anniversary, and we decided to put off the discussion about whether or not I should accept the job offer until after our anniversary getaway. I'd arranged for us to go on a luxury train ride because he's a big train enthusiast, and we were meant to leave for the trip 3 days after I got home. This is when the problem started. I have a very large closed bioactive terrarium, which I made with my mother 15 years ago. It's one of my favorite things I had from her before she passed. This terrarium is my pride and joy, and has come with me everywhere since we planted it. It was always healthy and beautiful, and I've only had to open it 4 times to do a little maintenance and watering. My husband knows all of this, so I don't understand why he decided to tamper with it in my absence. I didn't notice the night I got home because I was exhausted, but the next morning I went to check on the terrarium to find it in a terrible state. The roots were rotting, and the plants were dying and molding. He told me that he poured a few cups of water into the vessel the day I left and sealed it again. I was so mad I cried, and it turned into a huge argument because, quote, it's just a plant, and all you do is look at it anyway. He called me ungrateful and overdramatic, and I should appreciate that he intended to help me and didn't ask because he didn't want to bother me on my trip. I ended up canceling our anniversary plans, partly because I was so upset that I didn't want to go, and partly because I wanted to try to salvage the plants, which would require time. He hit the roof when I told him, and now is sleeping in a separate room and refusing to speak to me because, according to him, I'm being petty and trying to destroy our marriage. Am I being oversensitive about my plants? My friends are pretty evenly split and have pointed out that he was just trying to be thoughtful, however misguided it was. Not the idiot, and I doubt your husband was trying to help. Firstly, if you've only opened it a few times, then he knows it doesn't get watered that often. Secondly, he knows how much it means to you, so he should have known that you would have taken care of it before you went, or you would have left very detailed instructions. Also, how big is it? Would a few cups of water have been way too much, even if he was just being helpful? The "you just look at it" comment is also strange. That's what everyone does with their plants. He didn't forget. He maliciously killed something you love. OP, I'm not sure if he's enjoying being abusive or is trying to drive you to leave him so you'll be the bad guy, but he doesn't love you and has no intentions of treating you well. My personal speculation is that the husband is insecure about the career decisions that OP is facing, and he's trying to control her. OP, I believe that the most likely explanation is that your husband wanted to punish you for leaving him alone for so long. My stepfather used to do this all the time with things my mother loved. He was jealous of any time she spent away from him. Whenever she spent time with me, my grandparents, or her sister, he would help her by destroying or damaging something: plants, books, her antiques, and the piano that had been handed down through generations. Anything she loved. His behavior escalated to the point she wasn't allowed any friends and wasn't allowed to see family. He controlled what she wore and what she ate. Whether now or 10 years from now, you will realize your marriage ended the day your husband acted on his rage. I'm 3 months postpartum, but for the most part, it doesn't really affect me. Our daughter's an easygoing baby, so my healing process was smooth sailing. I've been up and doing my pre-baby routine since maybe a month after I gave birth. With that said, I still get super tired, and I still have pee-pee anger that randomly spikes whenever my breast milk drops. So maybe I'm being too harsh here. 2 days ago, I made a huge corn chowder. It took me at least 4 hours between prep and cook. I've been craving this since maybe 2 weeks after I gave birth. And though my husband said he would make it for me, I always declined the offer. I wanted to do it myself because, to be blunt, his cooking isn't great. Edible, but not great. So I wanted to make it, and I made it 2 days ago. I made so much. The mid-sized stock pot was up to the top. I've been eating it since I made it for almost every meal, and I wasn't even remotely sick of it. Not that that matters. But anyway, I had more of it last night, and I transferred what was left into a small Tupperware container. I had between 15 to 20 cups left. The Tupperware has measurements on the side, enough for about 10 bowls anyway. My husband made plans with his parents a few days ago to come over for dinner tonight, and he asked me to make a ham dinner. I don't eat ham, but I had no problem with this because I had corn chowder left. Mother-in-law and father-in-law showed up around 11 a.m. this morning to hang out for the day. I run to the store to get the other stuff I need to make for dinner. When I got home, my mother-in-law said, "That corn chowder was delicious. You'll have to give me the recipe." I said, "Oh, thank you." Whatever. I figured she ate one bowl. But I go to the kitchen to drop off the groceries, and the Tupperware holding the corn chowder is in the sink. I checked the fridge to see if it had been moved to a smaller container. It's gone. They ate all of it. I called my husband into the room and asked him where all my chowder was, and he said, "Sorry. I offered Mom and Dad a bowl of it, and my mom polished off the entire thing." So I go, "There was easily enough for 10 bowls in there. There's no way she just ate all of it." And then he shrugged and said, "No, she really did. Dad only had one bowl." So I asked why he didn't stop her, and he said he felt bad because she enjoyed it so much and was acting like she was starving. I told him I was not making dinner tonight. He can. I told him it was messed up that he would give away that much food, knowing I cooked it, specifically because I wanted it and saw me plugging away at it for 2 days. Besides that, there's no way that woman is still hungry after that. He says that he can't make the ham dinner because it'll come out like crap. True, but I told him that's not my problem, and to say to his parents that I'm not feeling well and that I'm going to hang out in the baby's nursery because of how upset I am. He says I'm overreacting. Not the idiot. His family already ate lunch at your house and devoured 10 servings of soup? What the heck? Aren't they offering to bring dinner to you? You're the one who just had a baby. And ham for dinner? You just warm it up. It's not an elaborate gourmet meal. I'm sure he can handle it. I don't see how she could possibly be hungry after eating 9 bowls of corn chowder. I love corn chowder, but 9 bowls? Not in one sitting could I do that. My stomach hurts just thinking about it. I don't blame you after you worked on that dish for 2 days. That's a crap ton of soup. It was really greedy on their end as well. So don't feel bad for any discomfort you may cause them. They should feel bad. They wanted ham, so they sent you out to get it and cook it, even though they know you don't eat it. Idiots. Absolutely. Tell them all that they've already eaten dinner, and they're welcome to feed you, since there's now nothing for you to eat. Don't hide and say you're not feeling well. Confront those entitled idiots and set a boundary about what happens with your food in your house. Lordy, mother-in-law is going to face some rough karma on this one.